Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry for me not being all, the hair is all backed up with a cap on. I just got back from the gym. I worked out for a little bit and I'm trying to get my body reacclimated again in working out. It's been two years and change that I haven't been in the gym, and it's it's an adjustment. I feel like a newborn baby learning how to walk. It's been a painful experience, and hopefully within time my body will get acclimated again and hopefully go back into a healthier state that I was when before pandemic. So yeah, I'll be a work in progress. I don't get glammed up when I go to the gym. Who does that? I know I don't. I just go with the basics. I'm only focusing my goals. Anyway, the point of this video is I've been following up on what's going on briefly with the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard. And my reason for this video is because yesterday I was having a discussion with my 17-year-old. Little did I know that he was following the whole case, watching videos of it. And of course it's everywhere. It's in the internet, it's in TikTok. That's how I heard about it. And I've been seeing snippets of audio, video, him talking about his, his domestic abuse, and little did I know that he was abused as a child, and unfortunately he has been abused during this whole marriage that he had with his previous wife. And again, my heart goes out to him because I like I stated in my previous videos, I will be an advocate to anyone who is going through any type of abuse. You could be a man, you could be a woman, you could be a child. I will always stand up and advocate to anyone going through that. And I had seen warning signs, from previous interviews he had on different, red carpet and interviews that he had with the media. And I failed to see the signs myself. And it's really heartbreaking to see that he had to live in silence because of the fact, that whole stigma of being a man. And my discussion with my 17-year-old was about being vulnerable, being vulnerable as a man. And it's very hard, and I see it, that men in this time of age are afraid to be vulnerable because society dictates you're not supposed to share your feelings with another individual, that a man's supposed to hide your feelings and you're not supposed to share anything, and whatever you deal with, you keep it closed up because it's not normal to share feelings with others. And I think it's total bullshit. And like I've said in previous videos, that's a backwards mentality that previous generations have taught us adults, because it's people my age that are learn to, you can't share your feelings. And the men of my generation has that mentality that they passed on to their kids to say, you can't share your feelings to others. That's total bullshit. Total bullshit. The only thing I did discuss with my son is, yes, you have to be selective of who you share your feelings with. Because in reality of this world, yes, you can't share with every single person. Like, with your coworkers, you can't. That's a reality of it. You can't share your feelings with your coworkers. You can't share how you could be vulnerable, because you know what? I've done that, and unfortunately, I'm the casualty of war here, that I've been screwed over so many times by it. So I have learned not to share my feelings, my personal feelings, with my personal life with anybody that I have worked with. Anytime that I, shared that part of my life, unfortunately, you're just giving people ammo to talk about you and say things about you. So, you have to be selective of who can you be vulnerable with. And with my son, I tell him, I'm like, with me, you can be vulnerable because I'm your mother. I don't restrict my sons, because I have two sons. I never had daughters, and I grew up with sisters, so I know what it is to have sisters. But to have sons, I teach them it's okay to be vulnerable with me on your feelings, your ideas, your dreams, because you know what? It's healthy. It is healthy to have discussions. It is healthy to share feelings, to share moments of yourself. Because unfortunately, this is why this whole country is so screwed up. And this is why things are happening everywhere. Because people of my generation was not allowed to learn to be vulnerable with each other. They use vulnerability as a tool to get back at each other. And unfortunately, that has became the new norm of hurting others. And I give my respects to Mr. Depp for standing up in a courtroom and learning, unfortunately, to open up what he dealt with. And yes, he is suing for money because of his ex-wife, pretty much defaming him on his character. But the point is that he was abused from the person that he trusted and he loved and tried to build a life with. And she used that vulnerability against him. That is really disgusting, really sad. Nobody should be tolerating that type of abuse. And I understand it takes two. But also, speaking as a person who's been through abuse, when someone is pinging at you, antagonizing you, there's always going to be a reaction. It's the fight or flight mode. You're either going to run away from it or you're going to attack. And it's a miracle he didn't attack her to the point that she was looking for. So his way of avoiding was just to, unfortunately, the drugs and alcohol. Just to numb those feelings. And it's important to know that, to have that boundaries set up within yourself and others. Who should you feel safe with and be vulnerable with? I don't believe that anybody should be vulnerable with just with anybody until you really know for sure. Because, prime example, seeing this trial, the snippets that I've been catching, by seeing his reactions to the different situations that he has endured, it makes me think of how important it is to build those boundaries within yourself and not just be vulnerable with anybody until you know for sure that you are dealing with the right person that is really meant to be with you. And that's what I'm trying to teach with my sons. My older son is 30, so he's very very guarded when it comes to people. He's not very trusting. My 17-year-old, he's very much like me. He's a free spirited, but he's a smart cookie too. And he tends to watch and evaluate people very well. And so I'm teaching him, the boundaries that he needs to set up with people, and how not let anybody use him and abuse him. Because at the end of the day, you could wind up with different partners in some point in the future, because he's young. He's not going to find the first woman and say that's the one. He might find a couple of them before he finds Miss Right. And I don't want him to be the next Johnny Depp to have people use his vulnerability against him. And so, yes, it is important to have that discussion with my teenager on where to draw those boundaries and when is it okay to be vulnerable. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm his mom, and it's okay for him to be vulnerable. I mean, what he does every single day after school. He comes home, drops his book bag, he comes into my room while I'm on my computer, and he will just lay down on my bed and he'll have his discussion of the day, how his day went. And we will have discussions, and it's important to have that dialogue going back and forth, because at least it gets him to understand that it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to, if you're having a bad day, that I'm here to listen. It's okay that if you have a certain dream you want to accomplish, let's do it. Because I'm the type that I don't downplay people's, expectations of life. If you have a certain dream, why not? Just do it. Do what makes you happy. And I'm teaching my son to do that. And so by him having that dialogue going back and forth with me, it's creating a bond that, hey, it's okay to share your experiences with others and not live in a closed up, not feeling afraid to say things. No, that's total bullshit. You can't do that. Parents need to really sit down with your kids and share moments with them. And if your kids are grown, do it with your grandkids too. Because you know what? The little ones, they need attention too. But always, always have a dialogue going on. And don't let any child, or even adults, because the men in this time of age, and I've dealt with quite a few of them already, that are afraid to share feelings with others. That's how come this whole dating thing has been so screwy in this world, because of the fact that men at this time of age, they're so afraid to share their feelings with a potential partner that they pretty much self-sabotage the possibility of having a good relationship, because of the fact that they've been hurt and damaged by previous partners that pretty much destroy relationships that are potential. And then they wonder why I can't find Ms. Right, because people have been hurt so bad that they inflict the pain of previous relationship into the new relationship, and then it becomes a hot mess. And I'm guilty of it too, because I've done it too. I projected a lot of my pain to a new relationship, but the thing is that when you see certain patterns happening, you're just wondering what the heck is going on. And that's why people need to calm down a bit. Don't jump into that whole, oh, I'm not going to share my feelings or my dreams. Fine, if you don't want to share your dreams or what your vision is at first, that's fine, but don't just stick with the minimum of hi, bye, how's your day. How you expect to get to know a person if you can't share, a good laugh, a really, conversation of life. You can't just put up a wall right off the bat and just treat somebody like she or he is not in the room, or on that person doesn't have a feelings, because you know what, by you portraying that wall to somebody, you're pushing that person away. And I'm really quick to feel that energy from people. Like if I feel somebody's putting up that wall, I feel it and I'm just like, whoa, what's going on? What happened? And so that's when things get complicated. And so I just do is just like, okay, so I guess you don't want to be bothered. I walk away, because people are afraid to be vulnerable with each other. And I try to be vulnerable, but it has to take two. It can't be just a one-sided vulnerability. I let her, share her feelings with me, but I'm not sharing shit. You can't do that, people. You can't do that. It has to be a two-way street to really have a conversation. And it doesn't have to be romantic. It does not have to be sexual. Because sexuality with people, it tends to be overrated sometimes. Because yeah, okay, and you talk sex and all that stuff, but then what happens after, the talk is over? What other things you want to share with, your potential partner? Then it becomes very stale. No free flowing of sharing ideas or minds or, inspiration. There's nothing sharing, just sex. And I have a call coming in, so I'll hold you guys. I'm sorry. I am back now. I am so sorry. I wound up getting this random call, and I'm expecting phone call, so it wasn't the call I was looking for. Anyway, my apologies again. So, by me saying on my last part of the clip, conversations need to be free flowing amongst people, potential partners, friends, family, whoever. You need to know the boundaries of, yes, when to have that moment of vulnerability with anyone, but also know the difference when not to be vulnerable. Like me, I've learned to pick up feelings from people. When I don't feel safe, I'll feel it in the gut area. My intuition kicks in. And so when I don't feel those moments of being safe, that's when I know when to pull back. And it's hard sometimes because a lot of people don't go by just the mere intuition. Some people just go by logic, like, well, I'm not hearing the conversation I want to hear, and then I'm going to shut her down. Bam. And that gives like a really wrong impression of the person, because you're not really understanding where this person's coming from. And a lot of times I've gotten that from people, like they're not understanding where I'm coming from, so they are automatically assuming the worst because the way I answer, but yet you're not feeling the energy that I'm trying to portray. Like you're not even asking questions. And this is where misunderstandings come from too, because people have a tendency to misread or misunderstand by the mere words. And this is why I say to people, I hate texting. Texting is like one of the worst things. Yes, it's easy. You get to talk whatever you got to say, but you can't really tell by a person's feelings by mere texting words. Because that could mean one thing and the next person could mean something else. This is how misunderstandings come about amongst people. People have gotten so lazy of the fact of picking up the phone, or I'm very down with the video chats. Because at least you get to see my face and know where I'm coming from, and I'll give you my expression. And, I'm very direct. I will be like, I don't sugarcoat things. And I don't mean to be, I've learned to be too masculine, and I'm sorry. But it's just, I've gotten tired of being like misused, mistreated, misunderstood, everything with the misses. And so I've gotten to the point that I've gotten a little too straightforward. But, I don't like sugarcoating things. And it's not because I'm trying to intimidate you. I just am very direct. But I'm still keeping boundaries. That's where I'm saying to everyone, being vulnerable is one thing, but also setting boundaries is another. And you're going to have a little bit of both. And if you feel that someone's not being honest with you, oh, believe me, I will feel it right off the bat. And that's when I'll put up my walls really quick. And to anyone that is going through this, that not sure about being vulnerable, how should I be vulnerable with someone? You will feel it in your gut. You will feel it in the pit of your stomach, whether that person's being sincere or not. And I feel it. I feel it when someone's not being genuine with me. And I don't, it doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. See, everyone has the gift of intuition. And a lot of times people forget to use it because all they think about is the mental part. But the true core of knowing whether it's right or wrong comes from within the gut. Like my gut will turn when I know something's not right. And years ago I've stopped, I didn't use my intuition. But the last few years I've learned to embrace it more. So everyone, please, 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 have your discussions with your family, your kids, and build those boundaries, build that relationship of when is it okay to be vulnerable. Because you don't want your kids to become the next Johnny Depp, dealing with, especially, our young men that are dealing with not knowing how to be vulnerable. It's important to have that discussion. We don't want to create new cases of domestic abuse. And know that having discussions like this is healthy, and learning how to communicate effectively with each other is important too. I know this video seems very random, but the point I'm trying to say is that don't be afraid to share your feelings with others, but just know, use your intuition, your inner gut, to know whether that person is right that you want to talk to. And don't be afraid, because you know what? You never know. You might find that person that is correct for you and is willing to listen and understand. Because after all, life is too short to live in isolation, in being scared and feeling alone. Alrighty, so this is it. This is pretty much the message I wanted to share, and my thoughts. Again, my prayers will go out to Johnny Depp, and yes, I am rooting for justice for Johnny. Alrighty, so thank you for watching my content. Please give the videos a like, because anybody who is going through something might find a small benefit with it, of maybe understanding. Anyway, thank you for watching my content. Again, I will see you guys soon in my next video.